All right, so this is called Ekpyrosis, the Watershed, for Samuel Delaney. So I go seeking the crystal wave in the coal of night, the tree below the piling watershed, the altars made of chalk, the moons a child keeps in a drawstring bag. So the river surges in the long planet of night, the banks rise like silver steps, here are saints' rattles. Here's a tooth from a regicide's wife. Midnight opens into a book of light. The book of light opens to hills following hills. They do not burn. They are fossilized forests that are the tokens to a game played in the lost language of time, a wave in the mirror of night, which is not the city at all, which is there with its crowding houses, where if I were to say a mist leaps from the utterance's ashes, and we were to drink that ash and water in the final dream of difference before the morning of fire, if the hospital is the university, is the prison, is the train, over the Buffalo River running, where it is entombed and running, to meet other waters in a gathering with everything it has been made to take. And if I should say everything streaming from me will be dissolved into dirt and water running to other waters that have run from you as our flesh streams and will stream, and if the final dawn arrives like a river or train you enter to take your place, where if we stay in this long and silver night, the moon does not need to break open like a great green blister, the string holding the lemon of the sun aloft will not have to fray, if we stay with this exhaustion into the waters of this city, with the deranged molecules of the Buffalo River, into the swift and drowning Niagara, into the swift and drowning ashes. Going to Buffalo's golden corner for half and half, in the sand, in the dawn, in the banners of the sand of the day, putting the car in drive, hands where they always arrive on the wheel, to work in river of Buffalo's lake-blown rain, which begins to gently and finally tug at your boots as it slides toward a storm grate, as you walk down Delavan, as the sun rises, the sun becomes more silver, as you pick up the sponge to apply to the clocked face of yesterday's plate, as in the cellars of a mountain a private dawn arrives, as the martyrs, the representatives of the state, turn into unmarked tombs tremble, the shower you took already soaking your clothes, as you glance wildly around the kitchen at a tomato on your cutting board as big as a small pumpkin, as you think of them in the holy shell of their dreams down the hall, but it is too late. You have to go, as the rivers below the river meet and rise in a silver welter, as the sky begins to ring as the river you are shedding, lids, wrappers, cellophane, and carbon, hair, prayers, and a look away from what is to come, as you arrive at the gates of an unholy planet. In the horses in the river and the pounding of the water, and punching in the digits of the clock, and cutting stems off 700 broccoli bunches, wrist by wrist by wrist by wrist, in the foam exploding over what it makes ashore, and hit that vocal smooth over the top of the tablet to say everything is going good in this transaction, in the colorless candle of dawn, in the glycerin taking and refracting, in the soft rolling away, peeling apart color from color and array, in the time severed into now, already in the way the task app's ding presses the sweaty hand into the hypnotic wheel of the blender, in the deer in the river, in the hare, in the sprinting of the calcified bear, and lugging 40 pounds of carrots through cradles full of scarecrows in the IKEA in the mineral heart of the moon, in the showers of ice chips, in the water that is leaving this earth, in gassing up a chainsaw behind the backs of the armored insects of the state, in the ocean touching the ocean, in the ocean beneath the sea, in checking the stats, in ferrying the meds, and tossing out the bag glossy with what a body could not contain, in all one's beautiful nest of thoughts, of the tides of one's feelings, paid as a wage in someone else's dream, snatched at and slung back in the driver's seat under the two close stars of a parking lot, in the recombinant currents, the water main bursting what had been safe into cataracts of fire, the burning rivers of time, the burning lakes and hills of time, the jumble of letters and keys, millions of fingertips spatter into the dawn that breaks through the dawn, the river that breaks through the dawn that breaks through the river, in the empire of time. Clock in and out, in the mounds of sawdust, at last. Clock in and out, so the waters of the grassy self rise, as work makes blind the steps and banks, as the endlessly user-tested celestial body dilates with the light of cash, as the banks give way, the endlessly dead feed, glittering oil from every pore, clock in and out on the wafer of the lens, on the punch posted on the wall, through a slip of paper authenticated by your boss. Clock in and out while the whole good world bleeds. Clock in and out, hungry and in need. One engine winds down and another fills with fire for the forced double, where the plant runs on both sides of life. Clock in and out while evicted intelligences try to find a language for a no that lasts. And the rising tides of shadows, and water breaking everywhere, spreading blankets in the box fan, sweating sex and children and laughter in the rivets, which fly down the line, learning the codes of exhaustion and the devices of escape, holding the steering wheel lightly on a thinning ribbon between bridges of water, between sleep and sleep, under a burning bulb of cash. Clock in and out, in a self that is pouring in a mattress, that is burning in the municipality, that is burning in the empire of time.